Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show. And today we're going to call it a chaos day because we're going to be chaotic. We're going to be so chaotic that we're going to be straight by the time we get through the chaos. I get emails all the time asking me questions about something that somebody has read. Okay, usually as pertaining to safety, volume, or whatever. And so you'll read a document or some kind of commercial, medical, whatever site you're on, and they'll warn you of the dangers of the supplements that you're buying and using. Now, for the most part, if they're a medical site, I would disregard probably about 99.9% of whatever they're reading. Because they leave out too many details. And what I mean by that is if something is going to cause you a problem, then you need to ask, how much do I have to take before I begin to see a problem? So a lot of medical sites won't give you that information. In fact, they hide that from you. Oh, you got to take 20 grams a day for like 99 days before you see any real side effects from taking the supplement. But they neglect to tell you this. It's just like with the COVID bullshit and the mask and wearing the mask. They bring the mandate out saying we're going to need to have you wear a mask, but they don't tell you that the other part of the mandate, the other half of the mandate, in Canada anyway, is that you have exemptions. You don't have to wear a mask. You can exempt yourself for any reason whatsoever in order to not wear a mask. Now the problem with that is people again get misinformed on the facts. The same thing with the supplements. When you're buying supplements and you're doing your research and you're doing your due diligence, which I encourage you to do, avoid most of the medical sites like the Mayo Clinic and some of these other places that you might want to decide to check, because 9.9 out of 10, they will always give it a negative rating. You have to understand something. The doctors don't give a shit about you. They're another one that don't give a shit about you. So when you present them with supplements, a lot of times, if you get some of the old school doctors, they don't believe in any of them. Some of the young doctors coming up don't believe in vitamins. So they cannot really give you adequate advice about vitamins because they are protecting their interests. They're protecting their devil. They're protecting their Moloch. They're protecting their Lucifer. Okay, they're protecting their bread and butter that the devil has provided for them. Because to go a whole century, 19th century, to go the whole century, and up to the halfway through the century, the people were getting healed and fixed and cured. And then after that, there was no more success by the medical field. What does that tell you? What does that imply? What does that show you? That shows you that the only reason why we do not have the cures on the planet, the only reason why we're not getting cured, 100% cured, is because there was never any intention of ever finding a cure for you. Never. And they have been experimenting and exploiting everybody generationally so that by the time they get to a certain point, they have diminished a whole segment of society. In this case, it'll be the baby boomers. All the baby boomers are going to get wiped out. That's the game plan. So when we're looking at all the things that happen around you, and you see, people don't question nothing. The observation skills that you have are up your arse because you're not using them. When you think about the medical field, think about this. They're not curing anything. Why are they not curing anything? They have the availability to do just that, yet they're not curing anybody. In fact, they just want to pump the vaccines so they can make money. Money. That's all they want. You to be poor, you to be destitute, you to have health issues. This is what they're looking for. This is what the game is. So when you buy vitamins or bulk vitamins, and you're doing your research, I'm not saying don't look at the negative, but be careful when you look at the negative and you read and you understand the full measure of what you're reading. In other words, they're saying it can cause this, it can cause that, it can deplete this, it can deplete that, it will do this, it will do that. The next question in your mind when you read this before you panic, because that's what happens. Everyone panics and they send me an email saying, what are we going to do? This is dangerous. Oh, ah, ee, ooh, ah. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Common sense here. Let's apply a little common sense. If they're telling you it's going to overwhelm this, it's going to cause this damage, that, how much do you have to take? How much do you have to take before you get to that point where they say it's dangerous? How much? See, if you can't find the details in that report, then disregard the report, because it's not giving you all the answers or the full details that are required. In fact, most doctors and most medical people will not give you the full measure of the facts because it cuts into their business. They don't make money unless they're prescribing drugs. If you're not getting the drugs, they don't make no money. And you got to remember, with all this COVID, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-maybe bullshit that they've got going on, even if you go to a doctor today, unless you got COVID, you're not going to get looked at because they're making money on this COVID. The whole fantasy on this, the whole ineptness of this is designed so that, and they've done this, they have given hospitals and the medical staff huge monies that they've allocated so that no matter what you have, you've got corona. You have the corona. So now they're going to make up to $300,000, depending on the hospital. Up to $300,000. There is no incentive to look at you if you got heart trouble. There's no incentive to look at you if you got cancer. There's no incentive to look at you if you got autoimmune disorders. They don't give a shit about you. What they're looking at now is the big money that they're making just by addressing the fact that you have corona or COVID-19, which nobody has. Nobody has COVID-19. It's so impossible to have that. It amazes me. I'm going to hate to go out when I go shopping and somebody confronts me about a mask. And I'm going to ask them if they actually have a brain. And try to explain to them that it's virtually impossible to be sick from COVID-19 because COVID-19 is a vaccination identifier. Certification of vaccine AI. Get that? Certification of vaccine AI. Where did you get the AI from? 1 is A, 9 is I. AI. See, the lie, the fabrication, like Hitler says, tell a lie big enough, long enough, and people will believe the bullshit. And they do. People, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to actually think that people, this many people, I've always known people were stupid. I've always known that. But I never knew that the volume was this high. It's like I feel like I'm a minority. Well, I've always been a minority anyway, but I really feel I'm in a minority. That the majority of people are brain damaged. And I mean, I wouldn't say my brain is completely, whatever, 100%. But next to them, I'm a sprocking genius. It's amazing what I see. When I see what I see in the volume and the levels I see it in, I actually think in my mind, these people actually had babies. They actually had children. Wow. That's even more stunning. They actually had children. I'm just trying to figure out how they found a destination to make the baby. You know, it's one of those things like, you know, if you're not mentally up on top, how did you find the opening? I mean, it's just one of those things. And then how did you figure out what to do? I don't know, maybe it's over the edge there, but I'm telling you, oh my gosh. You know, I'm walking around the street and I can't get over sometimes when I look at people when I go in the stores. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, I was at a drugstore today and everybody was wearing a mask. And I'm thinking, God almighty, you can't be, this is pitiful. This is pathetic. Totally pathetic. See, this is the problem. We think like machines. We think in one dimension. Okay? When we read what we read it in rote. And how we interpret what we read is in rote. In other words, see Johnny run. Now, we don't ask, why is Johnny running? Is he running from a gang? They're going to beat him up? Is he running to catch a bus? Is he running because he likes to run? Now, things like this. Now, this may seem a little far-fetched, but this is how you get away from one-dimensional thinking. Because when you read just, see Johnny run, that's how you interpret. That's all. See Johnny run. He's looking. You see Johnny. There's Johnny over there, and he's running. And that's it. And that's how they get everybody bamboozled. Now, ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question. Because this is the torture question. This is the torture question. See, our guy named Ford, I forget his first name right off the bat, but Ford, he ain't got a better idea by buying putting a Dodge in your garage. But anyway, this Ford guy we got as a premier is going to drop us down one stage. We're going to go from third stage back to second stage because we flunked. We flunked. We flunked out. Yes, we did. We just flunked out because the numbers went up again. Oh, my jumping. The numbers went up again. Oh, it's a disaster. The numbers went up again. Something that you can't die from, something that your recovery rate is like 99.9% recovery or 0.01% fatality. No matter how you look at it, the odds are in your favor. But, oh, we failed. We failed because the numbers went up. Now we're going to have to put everyone back to stage 2 because when you put everyone back to stage 2, the small businesses are going to get screwed up the arse. Restaurants are going to fold. See, Ford is following what the governor of Michigan did. When the automotive industry started making some money, she shut down the automotive industry. Oh no, you can't make that kind of, no, you're making money. That's capitalism. We can't have that. And this goofball is going to do the same thing. I think it's going to be around mid-October to November because that's when the flu season will really hit. The real flu, the one that can actually kill you, that's when it will hit. And that mask ain't going to save you from the flu. And anybody that's idiotic enough to say that they're going to wear the mask to protect them from the flu, they need to be hit really hard on the head with a baseball bat. I mean, really, really hard. You can see if there's even a brain in the head there at all. See if there's just not a little tiny pea rolling around, like a marble. What did we do before that transgenetic reject from a test tube, Tam the scam? What did we do before this lunatic got on the scene? What were we doing all these decades before this monstrosity came along to tell us what to do? It's just utterly amazing to me that this is going to probably tell us, oh, you're going to need to, because the flu's coming, and you're going to need to wear a mask when you have sex. Even when you're having oral sex, you need a mask on because you need protection. If you have any kind of sex other than, missionary style, you're going to have a mask on all your orifices. Make sure they're all covered because we got to protect you. Never mind that you might get an STD. Oh, no, no, forget that. Never mind that. Never mind that, having unsafe sex with somebody, a perfect stranger, could get you problems. No, forget that. No, don't. That's not. Just wear a mask. Just wear a mask. You're okay. That mask will protect you from all those problems. Because since this has occurred, it has eliminated all the competition. Heart failure, diabetic failure, autoimmune failure, cancer overload, respiratory failure, skeletal failure, DNA and RNA failure, nanopoisoning, nanobiotech assembly. It has wiped out the competition. See, how many of you are actually thinking two-dimensionally? When you see them racing, all the corporations of the world are racing to create a vaccine. Now, again, think about this for 1 second. Why didn't they have the same tenacity for cancer? Why didn't they have the same tenacity for cystic fibrosis? Why didn't they have the same tenacity for diabetes? Why didn't they have the same tenacity for liver malfunction? See, I remember when the AIDS came out. Okay, AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. When sick came out, that's how you have to define it. When sick came out, and people have always gotten sick, but when sick came out, or acquired immune deficiency syndrome, everybody got freaked out on the lie. And what gets me is people that woke up in that era of time on the fact that the HIV and the AIDS were nothing more than fabricated acronyms to create a scare in people. I'm not saying that sexually transmitted diseases don't happen, and I'm not saying that this is something out there that they have infected people with, which they are calling AIDS. It's not. It doesn't exist unless you use the terminology correctly, meaning AIDS equals that you've gotten sick. Then if you're referring to AIDS as being sick, that would be an accurate definition. So, when we're looking today at some of the wonderful nonsense going on today, you have to follow the money trail. There is no way around it. You have to follow the money trail, because if you don't follow the money trail, then you're never going to see the truth. Never. And as long as you keep reading in rote rather than in thinking in 2D or 3D or 4D, okay, what I just mentioned earlier, about, when you look at where the money goes, where all the money's tied, and everyone's racing like hell to get this vaccination going. Oh, we're going to all have this vaccination. We're going to get it up the ass from Germany, Russia, France, China, the United States, Japan, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Wherever there is a country that is working on this at a high ratio, we are going to have a smorgasbord of these vaccines. I'll take the American one, because the American one is cheaper. Oh, we'll take the Canadian one. Well, the Canadian one looks prettier. Oh, we'll get the one from Germany. Oh, those Germans, they use a real high-tech, high-end equipment. We'll get the German one. Oh, we'll get the ones from France. They'll put a bib on theirs. It makes it look so pretty. Oh, we'll get the one from the United Kingdom. Oh, we'll have the stamp of the Queen on that one, with the face of the Queen on the seal. And it goes on and on and on. So, being that America is number one, America will be the first to embrace all these vaccines. And this is going to be the perfect biological warfare ever conceived. The perfect biological warfare ever conceived. All you have to do now is take it to the home, create a delivery method. They're all infected. They get the shot. They go to the hospital. They get the shot, and then they drop dead. Wow! Look at the money you saved on bullets. and numbskulls are going to think this is great. Oh, vaccine. Oh, I got a smorgasbord. I got 25 different vaccines. I'll take the Australian one. Wait, maybe I'll take the Swedish one. Oh, maybe I'll take the ones from the Swedes. Oh, there's so many choices of these vaccines. Sign me up. And the first one that person will take will drop dead just like that. Boom. Well, it happened. We fulfilled our criteria for today. We're wiping out the 80%, leaving the 20. Unreal. I'll tell you what else is unreal. Tonight I had somebody from Greece send me some stuff, and I got, oh my gosh, some of the crap they sent me. You know how I say this is a shithole? It's a shithole. Well, you're going to see their link tonight called Demonic Shadow Takeover, Reality as It Really Is. Remember when the first Matrix came up? And they were and Neo was asking Morpheus, about the history, because they were looking for Zion. He found it. And when Morpheus showed him on the television what the Earth really looked like, after an AI war. See, when they're talking about, because they didn't mention AI that way, but it was mankind had war with artificial intelligence. And it dominated. Well, they're forecasting this is going to happen again by 2050. The AI systems of the world are going to assault mankind and wipe out a bulk of them. Whatever's left from the vaccines, these AI systems will take them out. So when you're looking at that link, Demonic Shadow Takeover, it's a strong message. I will tell you now, if you can't handle the hardcore truth, and this shit is really hardcore, if you can't handle seeing what's really going on behind the scenes or at the exact same time that we are existing, I was talking to God tonight, and I said, God, how the hell do you look at this? How can you look at this shit? How do you stomach it? I'm looking at the stuff, and I can barely look at it. I've seen some hardcore stuff, and I've seen some of the stuff in this PDF I put together. But if you can't handle the hardcore reality that this is what's behind the scenes, this is what's causing AI to take over mankind, this is what's causing the vaccine madness to occur, this is going to be a human sacrifice to the devil on a realm we have never seen. And when this happens, by that time your rights are gone. As I said in the last show, if you don't stand up for your rights, nobody's going to. And if you don't stand up for your rights, you won't have any. You just won't have any. So again, stand up wherever you are, any way you can. Compliancy is going to get us to the state where Australia is. That's where compliancy is going to get us. So be aware of the fact that we need to be more than just compliant. We need to be rebels, all of us. High-end, super sophisticated rebels that will fight against this kind of tyranny. So when we're looking at what's really going on, we see the Matrix and we see what the world really looks like. When you look at these illustrations that I posted, and I'm telling you, again, I'm warning you, this is hardcore stuff. Some of this is pretty hard to look at. That's the real reality that we are in today. The mask, the phony baloney, COVID. We're covering up. It's distracting everybody from so many different things that are going on. Child pedophilia hasn't stopped. There was a picture in there, and I'm like, anyway. Human trafficking, organ harvesting, hasn't stopped. This has been covering this up. The UN is something that every country should say, we're out of here. Chuck you Farley. We're done with you. And we need to, as Canadians, I think we need to start really seriously considering breaking all ties with the United Nations. I mean, look at what has happened to our country. We got a F-tard running it. We got another, and the Prime Minister is the court jester. Tam the scam is the F-tard. You know, we've got, I mean, Canada has been just flipped inside out. Like I said, the only reason we're not as bad as Australia yet is because we do have guns here, and I'm encouraging everybody, you might want to get one. It may not be necessarily for assault purposes, but I've been telling you for a while that there's going to be a food shortage. As a artificially produced food shortage. And people who don't listen to these pods, these type of pods, that listen just to mainstream, they will put them in a state of sleep and keep them right to the very day they're going to drop them into the abyss. When you look at that movie 1920 Metropolis 1927, and when the machines go bonkers, the machine changes into Moloch, and all the workers go up into the steps and then fall into this abyss where Moloch feeds on them. Well, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all. The only things that have changed is the surface of and the hidden nature of these things have always been around us and among us. We've just never seen them because we were being distracted. While you're looking to the right, they were chomping on you on the left. When you were looking to the left, they were chomping on you on the right. And like I said, when you see those illustrations, they are going to, like I said, be the eye-opener. When Neo saw the earth as a burned-out husk as a result of the war between AI and mankind, guess what? We're going right back to that again. And the dark forces of this planet, the Luciferian forces of this planet, are running that whole show. Now they're talking about another type of AI, you know, AI, artificial general intelligence. See, there's many levels of artificial intelligence, but the real AI system nobody can control. Nobody. Russians can't do it. The Hebrews especially can't do it. America and the UK are one of the leading countries in artificial intelligence. They can't control it. So when we're looking at artificial general intelligence, this is going to be another layer being put into place to dominate mankind. You know, and when you start looking at, another thing that popped out, I don't know if I got it on here tonight or not. Oh yeah, leave no drone unturned. Wait till you see the drone hardware that they're using now for the military. It's going to astound you. Now, you know how a lot of us think in terms of, we want to go live out in the bush. We want to go live out in the rural area. We want to get away from it all. We don't want to be here when all the shit hits the fan, blah, blah, blah. See, I have a theory. Two theories, actually. They're burning out all the farmland in the United States and Canada. They'll burn it all up. And the crops may take 6 or 7 years before they rebound back from the damage done by the directed energy weapons. Everyone is trying to say that these snipers, they had these arsonists running around setting up fires. What a load of horseshit. Unbelievable bullshit that they do, but they continually switch the paradigm or the directive. So what you're actually seeing and what they're telling you, they want you to believe what they're telling you. So I think there's a picture in there where you see Africa and some other country in the world, big countries in the world, having major fires at the same proximity and time frame. This is being done on purpose. Your food supply is going to be lacking. You may not find certain things. Like I said, I would stockpile now while you can. You may not even find a bag of potatoes, and if I were you, I'd grab those potatoes and plant those. Plant half of them. You know, in a wooden frame with some dirt, and just let them grow. Throw some worms and nutrients in there and watch them flourish. You know, this is what I would suggest everybody start doing is, like I said, stockpile and start developing an indoor garden. And if you can have chickens on your property, if you could have goats on your property, I would have them. They will be very barterable. If a chicken can lay eggs, those eggs will be worth more than gold. They'll be worth more than gold. This is why I said have a gun, have a means of defense. You know, when we're looking at the hidden rights that Canadians have under the Charter, and how the stores in your respective communities do not placate these rights that you have. But they will placate the bullshit about wearing a mask. You must wear a mask in order to come into the store. I don't have that on my store. I'm not even going to put it on there. Can't enforce it anyway. Someone comes into your store and they want to wear a diaper on their face, well, say la vie. If that makes your day, go for it. If someone walks in the store and they don't want any diapers on their face, I say, okay, cool, come on in. You know, either way. Either way. And apparently Galati has put up some stuff out there, so now you can use what he's doing to start suing your municipalities. I think it's a good idea, I really do. If they do anything to us to cause us more duress, I think we all need, especially where we're at here in Windsor, London, Chatham, Ridgetown, St. Thomas, can't think of that town off number 4 highway, you know, Woodstock, Ingersoll, Kitchener, Waterloo, you know, Milton, Mississauga, all of the greater Toronto area. Everybody needs to sue at the same time. I mean, bugger up the court system. This, what we're dealing with today, and what we're seeing today, is a flagrant outburst of the demonics that are coming out in the open. There's another link called 666 Anyone, and wait till you hear this guy do his speech the first 2-3 minutes. You know, he's telling you that you can be brainwashed, and he mentions 666. I mean, it's, have a look, take a walk on the wild side. You know, the mockery that's been going on in Canada needs to stop. We need to put an end to it. And we need to put an end to these so-called leaders that have taken money as bribes. Like I said, Ford wants to create a major meltdown by, I think it was October or something like that. We're talking about it. Major meltdown. Yeah, like I said, you know, pay attention to these things. This is going to really open your eyes, and the night shows and open your eyes. If you look at the links, if you actually look at the links, you are going to have an insight on things that you may not have had, and some of it's going to be disturbing. I am going to tell you this: if you don't have a strong stomach, don't look at the link. If you can handle just about anything, even though you got a little bit of a queasy stomach, fine, go for it. But if you can't handle it, like I said, you know, don't put it on. Don't put it on at all. It's a strong message. It's a very strong message. I think it's one everybody needs to hear and see. But if you can't handle it, again, I would say, you know, when you're more fortified to do so, then read it. You know, like I said, we're no longer in the good old days. We're in the good old days. The good old days had the same thing. Nothing changed. You know, they're just wiping out the generations a lot faster than they used to. So, like I said, you know, do your due diligence. Don't allow yourself to be sucked in by anybody on this matter. Do your own research. Again, that's the best thing I could tell anybody. All right, I think tonight I'm going to cut the show down a little short. There's a lot of links there. Now, I always tell everybody at the end of the show, read the Gospels. I think after you see some of that information that I'm showing tonight, the Gospels reading might not sound like a bad idea. So I'd get yourself a Bible and start reading the New Testament. Read what Jesus had to say. I always tell people, read what Jesus had to say. You know, don't let, like I said, anybody interfere with that. Read what he had to say. Best advice I could give anybody in regard to, you know, being aware of what's going on. Things that he dealt with back then, we're dealing with today. Nothing's changed. Nothing new's under the sun. You know, it's just the way it is. When you go on the website, again, there are people there that you can associate with, that you can help financially. You know, do so. There's Shai from Israel. There's Yanni from Switzerland. There's, I probably got that wrong. There's Sherry at Three Hearts Church. There's Brian 396. There's myself. Pick anybody you want. Help them any way you can. And again, if you can't, not a big deal. Share the data. Share the information. Share it. Alrighty. And after looking at that picture today, I'm more than convinced and reinforced that by the grace of God, we're still here. No other reason why we're here. That's the only thing I concluded, because after you see some of that stuff, it just makes you wonder, you know, what else is to be achieved here. Once the dark forces have been removed from the planet, which will allow us to evolve correctly, then and only then we'll be able to sustain something good. All right. I guess that's it. Till the next segment, to your health. And remember, by the grace of God, we are still here. And you know what? That is probably the truest thing I probably have told you ever. That by the grace of God, we are still here. Because when you look at the photo thing today and realize that this is going on simultaneously around us, you begin to wonder, wow, God is around. He has saved me. You know, keep that in mind. All right, to the next segment. To your health. Take care.